Yeah, g'day YouTubers. Tinker O'Toole again here with another video. Today we've been playing around with the Baby C. Now, don't know if anyone has heard of it, but it's been around for a while, and it came out in Still's Oil-O-Matic Super Chisel. And if we look up in the top left-hand corner, there's a picture of it. And if you look carefully at the picture, you'll see on the side plate where it's got the geometry, or it's got like two curves in it. Now, whole idea of it, it puts a nice little hook on the tooth. And I've actually got one that I filed. So you need two files, and we've got 3/8 chain. I use 5.5 millimeters. So you sharpen it normally with a 5.5 millimeter. And right up the top of the side plate, you use a 4 millimeter file. And you get that nice little tiny hook. And it's called the Baby C. So there's another picture here. And that shows the chain Oil-O-Matic Super Chisel. And it's been referred to by some of the old timers as Baby C. These days, nobody really ever does it. But look, it gives you a couple % extra better cutting. But then you've got to judge, is it worth running a 4 millimeter file through the tooth to get a slightly little bit better cut? Or you're better off doing hexa? So we'll try and bring this up to the camera. That's the Baby C. You can see there's a little bit of a hook on there, so, but not too much. It's probably getting close. But the 4 millimeter file fits right up into here. Let's see whether we can see that. Be a little bit difficult maybe to see. But that's where the 4 millimeter file's sort of going. Probably could have lifted the file up a little bit more, so a little bit of mucking around. So if you lift the file up a little bit more, you'll reduce that hook. But that's not too bad. So you use the 5.5 millimeter file to create the first profile, and then you use a 4 millimeter to make that little Baby C. Now you can see the raker's off there because this is my little experimental chain. Normally I just grab, you can see there's hexa profile on there. There's all sorts of profiles on this chain. Another bit of a experimental play around there. So I like to play around with different profiles and see what works. So we're going to do a whole chain on Baby C. And look, it's going to cut all right. There's no question about that. Because, and you would have seen on many other videos, that really, if you look at my fingernail, it's only this working corner, the first millimeter, really does all the work. The rest of the side plate down here, yeah, look, it may cut a few loose fibers here and there and help, but most of the work is all being done on this working corner, the first millimeter, around that point. That's where all the work's done, and even down the side here, it's not doing as much. It's that point that digs into the timber first because it's on that angle. And as that tooth comes down, it bites. It's the first thing that hits the timber, that point. And it really does a good job of digging in. When the chain pulls straight, it's like a shovel going in the soil. It digs in, the raker stops it, and then when it pulls straight again, it just lifts the chip out. So that's something, if you want to play around the hand filers, is the Baby C. I just sort of ran the file over that tooth again. And if you have a look, you can see the C shape. So you can play around with that hook as much as you want. You can make that more aggressive or less aggressive. So I guess that's the advantage of the Baby C. And what I did on this tooth here, you can see the blue texture and the red texture. So the blue represents a 5.5 millimeter file, and it's going to do all that section of the tooth. Because roughly this height on a 3/8 chain from here to here is just under 5 millimeters. And if a file's 5.5, it's giving you, you want to be holding your file up near a millimeter higher on a 5.5 millimeter file. They say up to 25% still now, but other companies only recommend 20%. And this is a 4 millimeter file, so you can play around with the 20% slightly higher. If you lower your file a little bit less, you'll get more aggressive hook on it. So it's a little bit of a thing that you can play around with, the Baby C. It was not called Baby C, but it's been referred to by a few people on YouTube as the Baby C. It's Oil-O-Matic Super Chisel by Stihl, as depicted in those two pictures that I presented there before. And we've got to thank Chainsaw Theories for sending us that information. So thanks, mate, for that. Yeah, look, thanks for watching. Bye for now. All comments are welcome, and please subscribe. Only one other thing to note, I was just thinking about it, was that if you really want to do the Baby C and you've got an FG3 or an FG1, an FG2 or an FG3 or a Granberg, that type of filing system held in the jig would be absolutely perfect for the Baby C. So that's another thing to consider, that if you want to do the Baby C and you've got one of those file guide systems like the Stihl FG2, and we'll just put that up in the corner. That's what I've got. So easy to swap the file it on a 5.2 or a 5.5 millimeter file, do the whole chain, left tooth, right tooth, swap over to 4mm file, Baby C, easy. Not a problem whatsoever. And once you've done a chain with the Baby C, it's just a matter of running the 5 millimeter file over there, maybe 1 or 2 passes, swap the file over and run 1 or 2 passes with a 4 millimeter file. So yeah, that's a great tip. If you want the Baby C and you've got one of the bar mounted FG1s or the FG3, I got the FG2. I didn't want the bar mounted one. I wanted the bench mounted one. I don't like filing in the field. Simple as that. I'd rather take out a half a dozen chains that are all sharp, and that way I don't spend time dicking around out in the field filing chains. I do all that stuff when I'm back home, when I've got all my free time and I'm doing maintenance on the saws, cleaning, etc. Anyway, I thought I'd pop that one in for those people that do have the FG2 or the FG3 or the Granberg or something similar, where you would be able to quite easily do a Baby C rather than freehand filing. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.